Whoa, another tutorial video after already making a video saying that the tutorials are coming to a close? Well, I decided that I'm still going to be making some tutorial videos, just not as a main priority. Because on my roadmap page, if you look back at the video I uploaded very recently about 4 major updates, you'll see that I have a Affinity Designer roadmap, or rather a tutorial roadmap of Affinity Designer videos that were unfinished. And so I'm gonna finish off this list here, and who knows, I might still throw in some other tutorial videos. It's just not going to be as frequent because I'm still going to be working on a paid plan with Patreon and still going to be working on these tasks up here. So I just want to keep you informed that I'm still going to be making Affinity Designer tutorials on YouTube. So let's get started with this tutorial now, cartooning tips in Affinity Designer. So here is an example. You're probably familiar with this character here. Well, originally I was going to have a car right here, like coming to get her because I'm going to run her over because she's on the road. Then I thought, nah, I don't want to draw another car, so I'm going to shift her over. So I'm going to just grab the layer that she's in, hold shift, and just right there about. Okay, so I'm going to show you 5 different tips to improve your cartoon character drawing. So one is different stroke widths. And for different stroke widths, this does not have to do with things like this. So see how the border comes down and then comes that way? And then comes down here. So in other words, I'm not going to change this part of the stroke widths, but different areas that are by themselves. And this is good for fabric and also good with hair. So I'm going to take these strokes and hold shift to multi-select. I'm going to not touch that. I mean, it is by itself, but just a single line, lines that are not connected to each other. And I'm going to leave that too because, and I'll show you why later on. So I'm going to select different hair strokes now, still holding shift. I'm going to leave that line. I'm going to leave that line because that's her bang. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to bring the stroke down a little. Say 0.3 should be good. It just makes the drawing stand out just a little more, just so not everything is the same stroke, even if it's a minor detail that you barely notice. The second tip is to have interior stickouts, and that's why I did not touch some of these strokes. So for this, for example, this looks like it belongs to this arm here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the pressure tab, or not in the stroke tab, the pressure area, and holding Alt, I'm going to bring that stroke down a little, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Oop, wrong one. And it's hard to remember where you started the stroke and where you ended the stroke, because that depends on where you lower the pressure down. Now I'm going to do the same here. Same with her hair. And now for this is one line. So what I'm going to do for that one is I'm going to place a dot in the middle. Now I'm going to, not holding Alt, I'm going to bring both of these down at the same time. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what? I already saved that profile. I'm going to close that one and save a new one. So I'm going to just select that and I'll apply it. And I'm going to apply the same thing on this one. And now with this one, oop, I'm going to lower that down like that. And you know what? I'm actually going to just save some profiles so I don't have to keep doing the same thing. Save. Let's see, which direction is this if I do that? Oh, it's the right direction. Do the same over here. Nope, wrong direction. Good, so I'm going to undo. And I'm going to bring this one down. I'm going to save that profile. Oh, and you know what? When I did the first tip, I forgot about her socks. So what did I say the stroke size was for the smaller stroke widths? All right, 0.3. So I'm going to do the same with only this one on her sock. I'm going to do 0.3. There we go. And now for these, I'm going to apply the interior stickouts. And see how just by making those small interior stickouts, it kind of makes it look more like fabric. Do the same over here. And if you do both at the same time, notice one's not the same, just switch it. And what do you think I'm going to do with this one? I'm going to use the middle one. Or the, not the middle, you know what I mean. Now here with the bang, I see that over here it's too skinny and over here it's too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that point and I'm actually going to change this just a little bit. Take this point, bring it up just a little. There, that way it looks thick here and then it gets more narrow by this point. So it's more balanced now. Oh, and look at this. When I selected her hair right there, this is actually an open shape. And the back here is another layer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select that, do that, and I'm going to do the same thing. Take a point here, increase the thickness. Just like that. And that's why I have this as an open shape, so I know where to place the nodes, because if the shape were closed, I would just be guessing where to put the nodes. Okay, so you can see how that made an improvement on her. Now the third tip is a thick border outline for cartoon characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the parent layer, and then I'm going to click Effects, and now over here at Outline, I'm going to just increase the radius, but don't have it too much. Let's see. There, just like that. Now it looks a little more comical. Right, now the fourth tip is, of course, shading. Now I had shading on her previously, but I'm going to be doing this again from scratch. So what I'm going to be doing is, first I have to decide which direction the light will be shining on her. So if I look at the background, for example, it looks like I didn't really follow the rules here. So because of this light coming out of the window, the light source is going to be coming from behind her and towards this back region. So that means that the front of her is going to be more shady. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select her sweatshirt layer. Now I'm going to take the pen tool and now click this Insert Inside the Selection button. Now I'm going to create a closed path. And so right here is going to be light, but seeing how the light is up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have more room over here for more light to shine on her. Actually, I think I'm going to even do more than that. And I'm going to reset the stroke profile. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to reverse the stroke to fill, and now I'm going to lower the opacity to about 25. And I'm not going to do it in this example, but if you want, you could also add an effect, a Gaussian blur. But I want everything to be smooth, not fuzzy. Even though on the fabric it would be an interesting touch to have the shadow be fuzzy. Now I'm going to continue it down here, and I'm going to have the stroke, the shadow be like this. So there's going to be light on this part of her sweatshirt. I'll make sure there's a lot of light here. Then as it gets higher, there's less light. I might even add a second layer of shading later. Oh, you know what I did not do here? I did not insert the shape into her sweatshirt. So I'm going to undo this, Command X for Mac or Control X for Windows. Press this insert side button, and then I'll do Command V. And now lower the opacity, about 25. And now I'm going to add these two together. Now I want to have a little light right here. So what I am going to do now, I'm going to take my pencil tool and I'm going to have the sculpt mode turned on. And now, right down here, just do that. And now with our skirt, just like that. Okay, and for her leg. So in here, rather than to have just a straight line like that, when I click, I'm going to curve a little. So this line is parallel, or almost parallel, to this part of her leg. I'm going to have her entire head be shaded. So I just did a little square shape. Now here, you see that there's a front hair layer and a back hair layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on one first, but as I get down below, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to just keep going. And having a lot of space here because that's where the light source is. Now, when I fill that in, you'll see that it's just for the top layer. Bring it down to 25. So now I'm going to copy that, and now I'm going to paste it in the back hair layer also. Here. Now it looks like it's only in one, but it's actually in two. Now before I continue, I'm going to just add another layer of shading. So I'm going to select her sweatshirt, press the insert inside button, and I'm going to just add some details like this. There. And when you have an object of 25% over another object of 25% of opacity, it creates this kind of effect. Now I could connect from here to here, but seeing how this stroke is here too, I want to come down here and do just something like that. That way, you can tell that this fold is separate from this fold, whereas if I were to have these strokes come down, it doesn't quite look the same. This area could use a little shading too. Like a spider web almost. You know what, I'm actually going to bring that stroke up, and this come down, so it connects right there. So the areas that I know where to get shading is just to know where different folds in her clothing is. Okay, now tip 5. Have the background faded out so the foreground character can stand out more. So here, this is the character layer, Katie, and this is the background layer. So I'm going to click on this, I'm going to click on Effects, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a color overlay. I'm going to just bring this down a little. So I'm going to just do about 40. And now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy this, Command-C or Control-C for Windows, or do the Edit menu. And then here I'm going to paste the effects on Katie. Paste effects. But instead, I'm going to lower the overlay a little. That way it's still the same tone, but not as much. So about 15 I'd say is good. That way it looks like she's still in the scene, but she still sticks out a little. But to have her stick out just a little more, I'm going to open up the background layer and I'm going to select all these objects except the sky. And now click on Effects. And now what I am going to do is I'm going to go into Inner Glow. But see how it really makes her stick out? But a little too much. So I'm going to lower the opacity and increase the intensity. And at last, I'm going to just go on the background layer and just increase the overlay a little, just to make Katie stand out just a little more. And you know something I realized? I accidentally got rid of the outline layer on Katie. So I'm going to click this, go on, and I'm going to check off outline. And those are the 5 cartooning tips on how to improve your drawings. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching.